Another weekly update of the rental house versus high income ETFs. So, if you are new to this video series, November, October-ish of 2024, we sold a rental property. It was one of the last rental properties we sold, and we netted about $70,000 from that, and we took that money and invested it into some high income ETFs, mostly covered call ETFs. And my theory was that the ETFs would do a lot better than keeping the house would have. So the house was paid off. It was a little simple 3-bedroom, 1-bath rental house in the town we live in, Northwest Illinois. And taxes, insurance, maintenance, dealing with renters was starting to get us down, so we decided to sell it and do something else with the money. We had multiple properties that we'd sold, and as we approached retirement age, we want to travel more, we decided this was the best thing to do, and as you will see, it probably was the right choice. Before we dig into numbers, it'd be great if you would subscribe, and if you like the video, turn on notifications. That's what every person on YouTube tells you what to do, and I'll quit saying that. So this is not financial advice where I invest this money and with the cover call ETFs and also the options I do. It's just what I do with my money, and it could be bad advice actually, depending on who you talk to. So be aware. I like looking at the market each week and paying attention to what's going on. I actually look at the market every day, but each week I like to put the screenshot in the video. So this is the S&P 500, the SPY, and it gives me an overall idea like where the market is going, and it looks like it's going up and to the right. That's always good. The indicators I always look at for everything, option trading, and just to try to make better decisions when to enter the market or to sell things. I look at the Bollinger Band 50-day moving average and the RSI. So the Bollinger Band is this thing here, and I almost call it like a bowling alley with the bumpers up. So like if this is the bowling ball, the price of the stock, it bounces off the top and the bottom of the Bollinger Band, kind of stays in between there. It does move with the moving average, and then it widens out when volatility is higher. So the black line is the 20-day moving average, the red is 50-day moving average, and the RSI down here, when it's below 30, it's called oversold, and when it's above 70, it's called overbought. It gives you an idea when to pay attention of possibly when to enter or exit the market, even though I don't really try to time the market. But you didn't come here to watch that. You came here to see how much money I've lost this week. It's a screenshot from Robinhood. So this account started at $70,000. It's at $98,000 right now. A few months ago, I started selling some options, mostly cash secured puts, generate some extra income. And I have 3 cash secured puts out there right now. And if I close those right now, I'd get $20 for this one, $174 for this one, and lose $84 on this one. But I'm very, very, very confident that sometime between now and February 20th, which is like a month away, this is going to be green, and I'll make money off this one too. And these ones will definitely go up. But I don't have a crystal ball. I'm just telling you what I think. These are the ETFs we have: QDTE, AIPI, SPY-I, QQQI, MAGY, and TDAC. On my title slide, I had put, should I swap out QDTE with TDAX? So TDAX is a new ETF by Tap Alpha. It's similar to the TDAC. Well, I shouldn't say similar. There's a few interviews with the CEO going around exactly what the trading strategy is for TDAX with an X. And I'm going to watch it for a few months, and in a minute you'll see that QDTE's been kind of fizzling out a little bit. So I'm thinking of maybe liquidating QDTE and adding something else, or just dividing the money amongst these other 5. Haven't decided yet. So what are some other fun facts over here? So I use margin. I have $105,000 in margin available. I'm using $62,000. That's in ETFs. I'm also using some option money as collateral for these cash secured puts. Now, people always talk about margin calls and all this other good stuff that they panic about. My margin risk is low, and any second I can close some of these cash secured puts here and free up this option collateral, get rid of that in a moment's notice if I want to. Basically, Robinhood is dangling that money in front of me and saying, hey, you want to use this for free. And for options, basically that money is free. You don't pay any interest on it unless you get assigned the shares. Now, this video is not about trading options, but I have other videos that talk about that if you're interested in learning more. And when I say learning more, it's for education. I do not sell anything. I don't sell memberships. I don't sell Discord. I don't sell nothing. I just share information. Take it for what it's worth and you decide for yourself. Keep moving on. So I got some distributions from these ETFs. So going back to January 1st, I got a big one from QDTE. And I won't get into the nitty gritty, but basically QDTE uses what's called like a synthetic position to create income. And apparently for tax reasons, they can't hold on to money from the end of the year that they made from capital gains. So they have to give it to the customer. And that's why I had a big distribution here. But then lately, the past two distributions have been 126 and 94, which is disappointing. It used to be like right around 180. But MAGY pays weekly. It's been paying right about 180. The rest of these pay monthly. So in about a week's time here, I should be getting distributions for the rest of them. Or not should be, I will be getting distributions from the rest of them. And the other way I generate money in this fund is from the option income. So I won't get into all the nitty gritty of the trades. Where this line is at, this is for January, trades that have closed in January. So I've closed 4 trades. I got 3 that are open that you saw earlier. I made $356 from those 3 trades. This is using margin money without paying any interest on that margin money. So that's the cool thing. And even if I did get assigned, the interest margin for Robinhood, I think, is at 5% right now, or 4.95. I just checked it before the video. So let's keep moving on. So here I put all the distributions and the margin interest in here. So here's that big one for QDTE. These ones here are the ones that are coming up. Down here, I just have one entry for the option income. So far this month, it's at 356. So total distributions and option income so far this month is $2,000. And also I have that interest for the margin deducted there. And then I show what I've been buying for ETFs right along. Now I haven't bought anything for 2 months now. I had to look in the calendar. And the reason is because I'm trying to pay the margin balance down to be 50% of my equity. We'll look at that in a second here. The other thing I like to look at is people talk about margin, ask why I use margin. Well, it's to boost the total return on that original 70,000. So in 2025, I earned 36% return. And for example, the S&P 500 returned right about a flat 15%. So did double what the major stock index did. For 2026, I'm up 3.25%. So that's 2.5 weeks. And compared to some of the other things out there, the SPY, S&P 500, 1.32, QQQ, and these other ones are funds that I have in my account. You can see AIPI is down, MAGY is down, QQQI is up, TDAC is up. So it's just starting out. Actually, QDTE is up 1%. So here I'm talking about getting rid of it, and it's outperforming a couple of the others that I'm planning on keeping. So maybe I need to go back and do some more research before I get all trigger happy with my clicker here. But anyhow, it's too early to tell. It's 2 weeks in, so we'll see how that works out. I keep pretty close tabs on things, so I like to know how things are going. Speaking about how things are going, so this is an updated for 2026. I started fresh with a new spreadsheet. I came into the year, January 1st, at 95,254. So this site over here is projected. This is how I project things will go. And over here is how things are actually going. I did have my formula messed up. So if you watched this last week, it was just a little bit, tad bit off, but it's fixed now. So far for the year, I'm up 3.28%. And my projection would be that I would be up 2.27% so far. And I'm projecting that I will grow this account by 0.75 of 1% each week. So that's about 3% per month, which if you figure out the compounding, it comes out to about 50% for the year. And people say that's impossible and that's not going to happen and all this other stuff. But, you know, if you don't have goals, you can't meet them. And you can't just set a goal, you got to have a plan to reach the goal. And the goal is to use the high income ETFs, use margin, and also use option income to boost that return. And then if I jump back here, as the margin gets paid down, I'll buy more shares of ETFs going forward. So as I pay the margin down, you can see the balance here, margin balance. Around May 1st, if everything goes as projected, this margin will be about 50% of this number here, so 50% over here. So you can see projected, I should be about 66% margin right now. I'm actually at 64, so I'm ahead of schedule by about 2 weeks. If you look at this January 30th there, it's almost equivalent to right in there somewhere. It is awful tempting to buy some more shares of some of those ETFs when the price dips. And so I might not wait until May 1st to add some more shares, some ETFs. If I get overly excited and there's a little bit of a dip in the market, I might go ahead and buy a few hundred shares of this or that. But I'm still trying to keep the goal of getting this to about 50% around May 1st or before. And this is all about comparing how things would be compared to that rental house, which as time goes on, I forget more and more about the rental house and care less about comparing because this is doing so much better. There's really no comparison, in my opinion, anymore. And people will say, well, you got tax benefits from rental property. Well, even with the little bit of a tax benefit, it didn't even come close to like making up the difference at all. So if we would have kept the house, we would have came into the year at about a $4,700 balance in the checking account and about $73,000 in equity. I estimate that the equity grows at about 4% per year, so about $233 a month. And then the rents collected, I jumped that up for 2026 to $800 from $700. And then the expenses are about $450 a month. And yeah, the taxes and insurance are super expensive in Illinois, so that's why it is what it is. So when you add the balance of the cash and the equity, it'd be sitting about $78,570. And this shows the expenses from my tax returns for 3 years, 2021, 22, 23, and 24 was a partial year, so I didn't really include that because that's the year it became vacant and we fixed it up. So the average per month was $368. That includes everything, but not depreciation, obviously. It includes insurance and taxes and normal everyday repairs. What it didn't include is everything we spent to fix it up when we sold it. And that was almost $15,000 we put into it. Didn't seem like that much when we were spending the money, but when you start doing roofing, soffit, fascia, and replacing windows and painting the exterior and repainting the inside, it did add up, and we did a lot of that work ourselves, but also hired a lot of it done. And that's where a lot of that money went. Probably half of it went to somebody else for labor. And if you figure that out per month over 3 years, it's $309 a month. So if you add the 309 to the 368, it's almost $700, which was basically what we were collecting in rent. So for about 3 years, we didn't make any money on this property. However, where we did make money is since we sold it. So this is since we sold the house in October 2024. So it's like 13 months about right now. So the rental house would be worth about $78,570. And the ETF is at $98,374. So we're up like $20,000. And the money just sits there and keeps piling up. We're not taking any out at this point, and I don't know if we ever will. This money just might be money we give away someday or be sitting there when I'm dead and gone. Not sure yet, but we'll see. Well, I won't know if I'm dead and gone, but you get the idea. So I'm just some random person on the internet. I'm not a financial advisor. Did have rental property for 35, 40 years. I have invested in the stock market since I can remember, since my first job. I had an IRA when I was like 18 and had a 401k as soon as it was available with my job. And I've been paying taxes for my entire life, including some complicated things with depreciation and real estate and selling things and accelerated depreciation and cost segregation and all types of fancy stuff. So even though I don't have a piece of paper saying that I know what I'm talking about, I feel personally I know what I'm talking about when it comes to my stuff. These are just examples. Do your own due diligence, but don't settle for the typical 9-to-5 Dave Ramsey approach to life. That'll work, but have a little bit of a fire under you and do something a a little more exciting. So that way when you retire, you can afford to do fun stuff, or even before you retire. Enough of that. That's it for this video, so we'll see you in the next video.